Listen closely. Because every time you open your mouth to defend your worth, you are actually liquidating it. You think you are being clear. You think you are being honest. But to the world, you are simply being loud. And in the arena of respect, loudness is a sign of weakness. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Your instinct was to speak, to explain, to prove them wrong. But in that moment, your words didn't fix the problem. They fed it. Every syllable was a withdrawal from the bank of your authority. You were handed a shovel, and you used it to dig your own grave of irrelevance. For a man over 40, silence isn't just a choice. It is the only weapon left that actually works. The world doesn't respect the man who explains his value. It respects the man whose value is so immense, it requires no explanation at all. Today we stop the bleed. Your words are costing you your authority at work. They are costing you the respect of your family. And most dangerously, they are costing you your sovereignty. We are talking about strategic silence, the Stoic art of winning by saying absolutely nothing. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by winning arguments. He ruled by mastering himself. He understood that true power lies not in persuasion, but in self-possession. Epictetus, his intellectual predecessor, taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, not merely as a biological fact, but as a profound strategic directive. Nature itself is telling us to listen more than we speak. In the next 20 minutes, we are going to systematically dismantle the modern obsession with speaking up. We will dissect the cultural narrative that equates constant verbal output with intelligence or importance. This is not about being quiet for the sake of it. This is about wielding silence as an instrument of power and control. We will cover the 5 specific scenarios where your speech is currently destroying your status, your relationships, and your peace of mind. We will examine the insidious explainer's trap, that deeply ingrained psychological glitch that makes you look small, desperate, and weak, precisely when you are trying to appear correct or authoritative. And finally, I will equip you with the Stoic protocol for reclaiming that potent power you have inadvertently talked yourself out of. If you feel like you are shouting into a void, that your opinions fall on deaf ears, that your carefully constructed arguments are met with indifference or outright dismissal, then pay very close attention. The cost of missing this vital understanding is truly everything you value. Why do you feel that incessant need to explain yourself? To justify your actions? To clarify your intentions? It is a question most men, especially those who have navigated the complexities of adulthood for decades, never truly pause to ask themselves. When someone questions your decision at work, a subordinate, a peer, even a superior, or when your partner doubts your intent in a personal matter, your heart rate instinctively spikes. You feel a primal debt of information, an obligation to fill the void in their understanding. You convince yourself that if you just find the right words, the perfect logic, the most reassuring tone, they will finally see the truth. They will finally understand your perspective. They will finally grant you their approval. But this compulsive need for their comprehension, this desperate urge to be understood, is a fundamental biological glitch. It is an ancient wiring that no longer serves us in the modern world. When you explain yourself, you are not clarifying, you are surrendering. You are handing the other person a detailed ledger of your self-worth, your intentions, and your perceived vulnerabilities, and then you are asking them to audit it. You are implicitly saying, my inner peace, my sense of validity, my entire sense of self depends entirely on your comprehension. That, my friend, is the inescapable definition of a slave. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, observed with profound clarity, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This tendency is amplified as we age. as the social pressures to conform and be liked become ingrained. Every word you spend, every ounce of energy you expend trying to convince someone who fundamentally does not respect you, or who is not open to understanding, is a word, an ounce of energy, wasted on a ghost. You are pouring precious water into a sieve. Think of it this way. You are currently a puppet, dancing blindly to the invisible strings of strangers' opinions. Every single time you feel compelled to explain yourself, to justify a decision, to clarify a remark, to defend your character to someone who has not earned that privilege, who does not respect your position, who is not invested in your well-being, you are handing them another piece of your soul. You are giving away your emotional and intellectual property for free. Stop leaking power. Stop voluntarily surrendering your sovereignty to people who, in a moment of genuine crisis, wouldn't spend a single minute, not 1 second, helping you if you fell. They are not worth the ink of your explanation. This deeply ingrained need to explain is rooted in ancient survival mechanisms. 2,000 years ago, being cast out of the tribe meant certain death. You needed the group to survive the harsh winter, to hunt effectively, to protect yourselves from predators. So, you are biologically and psychologically wired to please the group, to conform, to seek validation. The stakes were life and death. But today, the tribe is everyone. It is the person at the grocery store who glances at your cart. It is the stranger on the internet leaving a dismissive comment. It is the coworker in the break room who doesn't even know your name, your history, or your struggles. And when you attempt to please this amorphous, undefined everyone, you become no one. You dilute your essence. You lose the sharp edges that make you unique and respectable. You become a bland, agreeable echo. Every second you spend wondering what they think is a second you have stolen from your own progress. You are like a master blacksmith who has abandoned his forge, his vital work of crafting a crucial blade, to go pull weeds in a neighbor's garden. And while you are tending to trivialities, your own important work, your own potential for strength and influence, grows cold. It loses its temper. It becomes brittle. You are not being diplomatic, you are being distracted. You are not being considerate, you are being complacent. To be a Stoic is to cut these self-defeating strings. It is to recognize that your internal compass, your own reasoned judgment, is the only true arbiter of your worth. You are not beholden to the fleeting opinions of those outside your circle of control. The world does not require your justification. It requires your presence, your competence, and your quiet strength. When you stop explaining, you reclaim the energy you've been expending on external validation, and you redirect it inward towards your own growth, your own integrity, your own peace. It is a fundamental act of self-liberation. In the high-stakes arena of your life, your career, your relationships, your personal growth information is the only true currency that matters. It is the raw material of influence, of decision-making, of strategic advantage. And when you talk too much, when you broadcast every thought, every plan, every grievance, you are giving away your gold for free. You are devaluing yourself in real time. Think of silence not as an absence of sound, but as a tangible presence. Think of it as a wall. A man behind a stone wall is an enigma. He is a force to be reckoned with because his intentions, his boundaries, and his capabilities are unknown. His mystery commands attention and respect. His silence creates a space for others to project their own thoughts and fears onto him, often revealing more about themselves than he ever could by speaking. But a man who talks constantly, he is an open book. He is a glass house. Everyone knows where he is weak. Everyone knows exactly where to strike. His vulnerability is laid bare for all to see, and often to exploit. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that speech is a tool, but silence is a weapon. It is a strategic instrument that can be wielded with far greater precision and impact than mere words. When you speak less, you automatically appear more powerful. You command more attention. You create a vacuum of sound and information, and humans, by their very nature, abhor vacuums. They have an innate, almost desperate need to fill empty spaces. So, they will rush to fill the silence with their own insecurities, their own secrets, their own assumptions, and crucially, their own mistakes. By remaining silent, you are not just being passive or shy. You are actively conducting a psychological interrogation without asking a single question. You are forcing others to reveal themselves, to justify themselves, to commit themselves verbally. Their silence becomes your intelligence. Their words become your leverage. This is not manipulation. It is strategic observation and calculated restraint. It is the high ground of effective communication. Consider the subtle power dynamics at play in any negotiation, any business meeting, any tense family discussion. If you are the one who speaks first, who fills the silence, who offers explanations and justifications, you are essentially ceding the initiative. You are revealing your hand. You are setting the terms of engagement on their turf. But if you choose silence, if you allow the other person to speak first, to fill the void, they will often reveal their needs, their fears, their offers, and their limitations before you've uttered a single word. Their words become your map. Their disclosure becomes your advantage. This is why I always say less than necessary, as codified by Machiavelli and echoed in Stoic principles, remains a timeless piece of advice. It's not about being terse or rude, it's about maximizing the impact of your words by making them scarce. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. They are perceived as more valuable, more deliberate, more considered. People listen more intently. They analyze what you say more deeply. They assume that because you choose your words so carefully, they must be significant. This deliberate scarcity creates an aura of authority and wisdom. It positions you as someone who has something important to say, rather than someone who simply needs to be heard. This is especially potent for men over 40, who have accumulated a lifetime of experience and insight. Toning down the constant stream of chatter allows that hard-won wisdom to shine through, rather than being drowned out by the noise of everyday conversation. Your silence becomes a signal of your deep thinking, your self-control, and your strategic mind. It communicates confidence and mastery far more effectively than any lengthy explanation ever could. Let us be clinical. In the theater of modern life, there are specific moments, specific conversational traps where your words are not just costing you respect or energy, they are actively undermining your life's work, your relationships, and your very sense of self. These are the 5 deadly speech traps. Identify them. Avoid them. Reclaim your power. Trap 1. The defensive retort. Someone insults you. A colleague questions your competence. A stranger makes a dismissive comment online. Your blood boils. Your instinct screams, fire back, defend yourself, show them they are wrong. You launch into a passionate, detailed explanation of why they are mistaken, why your actions were justified, why you are not what they claim. You think you have won the argument. You feel a temporary surge of vindication. But you didn't win. In fact, you lost profoundly. You just proved, unequivocally, that their words from someone likely insignificant to your life's goals have the power to derail your composure, to hijack your emotional state, and to dictate your actions. You willingly stepped onto their battleground and fought by their rules. A Stoic king does not engage in petty squabbles with a peasant. He does not feel the need to prove his kingship to someone who questions it. He simply continues being king. His actions, his bearing, his achievements speak for themselves. Your authority is not diminished by their ignorance. It is diminished by your need to correct their ignorance. The best defense against an insult is often a silent, unwavering dignity. Let their words hang in the air, unanswered, unacknowledged, and ultimately powerless. Trap 2. The announcement of plans. This is the premature declaration. You have a brilliant idea, a new business venture, a personal goal, a creative project, and before you have even taken the first concrete step, before you have laid a single stone or drafted a single line of code, you tell everyone. You announce it at dinner parties. You post it online. You share it with colleagues, seeking their applause and validation. You get a cheap, fleeting hit of dopamine from their encouraging words. Now, your brain, tricked by this false sense of accomplishment, thinks you have already won. The psychological reward has been dispensed. The motivation required to actually do the hard, unglamorous work evaporates. You lose the hunger. You lose the grit. You lose the relentless drive that transforms an idea into reality. The ancient Stoics understood the power of internal resolve. Stop telling people what you are going to do. They don't need to know your intentions. They don't need to hear your aspirations before they are manifest. Instead, let your actions speak. Let your finished work be the announcement. Show them what you have done. The silent execution of a plan builds far more respect than its noisy proclamation. Trap 3. The venting session. You've had a terrible day. Your boss was unreasonable. Your child was disrespectful. The traffic was infuriating, and you feel this overwhelming urge to let it all out. To vent. To complain. To share your grievances with anyone who will listen. You believe that vocalizing your frustration will somehow alleviate the pressure, that it will help you process the negative emotions. But it doesn't. It doesn't help. It rehearses the trauma. It keeps the negative emotion alive, replaying the scenario in your mind and in your voice. It makes the anger, the resentment, the frustration permanent. Every time you vent about a grievance, you are not releasing it. You are carving it deeper into your identity. You are watering the weeds in your internal garden and wondering why they continue to grow, choking out the flowers of peace and contentment. You become defined by your complaints. You are the victim. You are the one who is always wronged. This self-perpetuating cycle traps you in a victim mentality, making it harder and harder to see solutions or take control. True Stoic processing involves acknowledging the event, understanding its relation to your actions and your control, and then letting it go internally, not broadcasting it externally. Trap 4. The unasked advice. You observe someone struggling. They are making what you perceive as a mistake. They are heading down a path you believe will lead to failure or pain. And you feel that urgent compulsion to intervene, to help, to offer your wisdom, your hard-earned experience, your unsolicited advice. You genuinely believe you are being helpful, kind, and wise. But unless they have explicitly asked for your input, unless they have signaled their openness to your guidance, they will not hear your advice as helpful. They will hear it as arrogance. They will hear it as criticism. They will hear it as an attempt to impose your will or your judgment upon them. You are spending your precious social and emotional capital on people who will not only ignore your wisdom, but will likely resent you for it. They may feel patronized, judged, or undermined. Let them navigate their own journey. Let them learn their own lessons. Keep your wisdom for those who actively seek it. Your unsolicited advice is often an imposition, not a gift. True guidance is given when sought, not when offered unsolicited. Trap 5. The filler. This is perhaps the most insidious trap, the one that erodes our presence most subtly. You find yourself in a pause, an uncomfortable silence in a meeting, a lull in a conversation at a party, a moment of quiet in the car with your family. And instead of embracing that silence, instead of letting it exist, you feel compelled to fill it. You babble. You offer a trivial observation, You ask a rhetorical question. You make a meaningless comment to smooth things over, to avoid the perceived awkwardness. You are signaling to the room, and perhaps more importantly, to yourself, that you cannot sit with your own thoughts. You cannot be comfortable in your own presence. You are telegraphing anxiety. You are broadcasting a lack of inner composure. Master the pause, and you master the room. Embracing silence in conversation doesn't make you aloof, it makes you seem thoughtful, deliberate, and in control. It allows others to think. It allows you to observe. It allows your presence, not just your words, to have an impact. When you fill every silence, you are saying you have nothing worth considering to add, so you add noise instead. So, how do we dismantle these ingrained habits? How do we reclaim the everything we've lost through unchecked speech? How do we move from being a constant talker to a stoic of strategic silence? It begins with intention and disciplined practice. First, embrace the 10-second rule. This is not merely a suggestion, it is a critical Stoic protocol for self-mastery. Before you respond to any provocation, any question, any perceived slight, pause. Intentionally count to 10. In those 10 seconds of deliberate silence, ask yourself a single, vital question. Does this word I am about to speak add genuine value to the situation, or am I merely trying to soothe my own ego, gain fleeting approval, or react out of habit? 9 times out of 10, you will discover that your immediate impulse to speak is driven by ego or habit, not by necessity or strategic value. And in those 9 moments, you will choose the silence. You will retain your power. You will preserve your energy. You will avoid the traps. Next, cultivate and embrace the aura of the unknown. This is about more than just speaking less. It's about managing your presence and your communication strategically. In your next significant interaction, whether it's a crucial board meeting, a family dinner where tensions often run high, or even a one-on-one conversation with a partner, make a conscious effort to speak exactly 50% less than you usually would. Don't be cold or dismissive. Instead, aim for a demeanor of present but unavailable. Be attentive, listen deeply, absorb the information, but constrain your verbal output. Observe the room. Watch how the energy shifts toward you. Notice how people start to weigh your words more heavily because they are becoming rare. When something you say is infrequent, it is perceived as more valuable. It is assumed to be more considered, more significant. Rare things are expensive. Cheap, ubiquitous things like constant chatter are ignored. By practicing this deliberate scarcity of speech, you train others to value your input. You command attention not through volume, but through the impact of your carefully chosen words. You cultivate an aura of deep thinking, self-control, and strategic insight. This is how you build respect that requires no verbal defense. The cost of your words wasn't simply measured in social statuses or lost opportunities. It was a cost levied against your very soul. Every time you spoke when you should have listened, every time you explained when you should have remained silent, every time you reacted out of habit rather than intention, you betrayed the Stoic within you. You chose the fleeting noise and chaos of the external world over the enduring quiet and strength of your inner fortress. You handed your power away, piece by piece, in exchange for hollow validation. But here is the Stoic truth. The past isn't indifferent. It is gone. It has no bearing on your present reality unless you allow it to. It is over. What truly matters is not what you did yesterday, but the conscious choice you make the next time your phone rings with an unsolicited call, or the next time someone attempts to bait you into an argument, or the next time you feel that familiar urge to justify yourself. Will you continue to spend your precious worth on another pointless explanation? Will you continue to trade your peace for their fleeting understanding? Or will you, with newfound discipline and intention, keep your gold? Will you hold your tongue, observe, and let them wonder? Let them question. Let them respect why you are so profoundly calm. Your words cost you everything. Your silence, your strategic, intentional silence will buy it all back, and then some. It will buy you your sovereignty, your peace, your respect, your life,